The other aspect of it, though, if you're the Lakers and if LeBron's a part of the near future, they can't win enough possessions with that roster. And to me, that's what it's going to come down to. Like, Luka and LeBron could get 30 each, but they can't compete on the backboard.
And they both can give up 30.
Yeah. And they ain't got no backline help.
Let me start off by saying LeBron James is the most polarizing player I've ever seen on social media. It's either one of two camps that people belong in. You believe that LeBron James is the greatest ever, and guys like Michael Jordan played in a prehistoric era of basketball that had minimal skills, or you think the opposite. A player like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant are the best ever, and LeBron James is some sort of crybaby with no skill, can only drive to the basket, and is the worst thing ever to happen in the league. I've said this commentary already. Lucky enough for everybody today, I actually represent a healthy balance. I'm not saying LeBron James is the outright MVP. I just believe he should be in that conversation with a Gilgeous-Alexander and a Nikola Jokic, and I'll make my argument as to why I believe so. As we look at the Lakers today, they are currently second in the Western Conference. I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to drop this video, so just bear in mind the information that I'm sharing with you as of today. They are on pace to win 52 games. Last year they won 47, and they finished 7th in the West. On top of this, every team in the Western Conference is at least a few games above the 500 mark or more when it comes to 1 through 8, the playoff seeding. Yet and still, people had questions about the Lakers, not only after they made the trade with Luka Doncic, as you heard in the intro, but before as well. Let me refresh your memory.
He said that there's not much room for error with this team, given the way this roster is constructed. What more can be done with this roster? Are you satisfied with the roster?
Need another big, and our biggest matchup the past couple of years has been Denver, like trying to beat Denver. Obviously they're a different team now, but then you watch Minnesota, obviously they're a different team now, but you see how Minnesota beat Denver, 2 bigs. Obviously the shooting, you know, me and Bron gonna draw so much attention.
As you heard, that's Anthony Davis, ironically, just before he got traded, talking about the Lakers needing to make moves, the roster not being quite where they want it to be. I'm going to get to my bigger picture point. I'm just slowly warming this up. You hear him talking about they need shooting, more big men on the squad. And what I noticed immediately after the Luka Doncic trade, the narratives that I saw going around was that, oh, this is a move for the future. The Lakers aren't going to win a championship with this roster constructed. This is a good move down the line when LeBron James retires. And if you watch my video when this happened, I said I don't understand why people are looking at it like this team can't win. As of right now, they got the 2 of the best players, so I was questioning it even then. My point being is that when I look at the most valuable player, one of the key criteria for me is not only your individual performance, but how well that individual performance is affecting your team based on what you have. Are you doing the most with the least? So Anthony Davis says they need a big man, then they trade him away, the best big man they have on the team. The Lakers try to get Mark Williams to try to make things work. He doesn't pass the physical. Well, I'm going to say if LeBron James keeps this up with Luka Doncic and they stay afloat top 3 in the West, he got to be in the MVP consideration, given his stats, what he's doing individually, as well as the team performance. Now, if we look on the screen, the Los Angeles Lakers are 6-2 with Luka Doncic so far, and they have been 24-18 with Anthony Davis in the season before he got traded. Yet and still, we see them at 2nd in the West. What is the common denominator? This 40-year-old guy named LeBron James who still refuses to slow down and gracefully retire out of the league. Look, I'm sorry, and for anyone who thinks I'm like a stan who's trying to make history to prove LeBron James is the greatest ever, I don't have him as the GOAT. I still put Michael Jordan above him. I got LeBron more than likely right behind him. I've also seen this photo floating around, which further cements what I'm trying to convey here, with LeBron James on the left in his 2012-13 season with the Miami Heat, and LeBron on the right since turning 40. As you see, based on these numbers, he's averaging just about the same points, shooting a better field goal percentage, also shooting better from the 3-point line at 43%. I actually remember getting into a healthy debate with somebody in the comment section where I had made another video saying, hey, LeBron has improved overall in his career when it comes to outside shooting with his 3-point shot, and they were making the case that wasn't really it. But I've always felt that way anyways. You can let me know. The rebounds are up, the assists are up, and the one on the left, the LeBron James, this is when he won MVP, guys, right? So even if you disagree, which is totally fine, I think at the very least, this is not something that is totally far-fetched or seems crazy. There's legitimacy to this point.
For the first time in 22 years, we finally can say that there might be a player on this team that's better than he is. Because nobody has gone longer and been the front man. Has he? I mean, I'm trying to figure out. Has it, Stephen A? No. Has there anybody gone any longer than what LeBron James has gone has been the front man?
Look, Shannon Sharp is making a good point, and again, I don't see him as GOAT James the way he may say in a joking way, but also being very serious. However, yeah, he has been the front man LeBron James on each and every team, while still usually making the playoffs and looking like a superstar at the same time. It's kind of the Nikola Jokic effect. Every single year, the Denver Nuggets are doing good. The only thing is he's getting these monstrous triple-double numbers, which will always have him in the MVP consideration. I also want to say I had Anthony Davis somewhere in that mix too before he got traded. Maybe not at the top 3, but somewhere in that top 10, especially during the beginning of the season where he was averaging close to or even above 30 points per game with all of these rebounds. With all that being said, yes, I would still have Shea number 1 in the MVP race, followed by Nikola Jokic right behind him. And just looking at OKC, they're 49 wins, 11 games or so above the Lakers. Everyone else in the West is really, really close. And then you see this separation with the OKC Thunder. Chet Holmgren just came back, so Shea was doing this without another one of his star players. It's hard to ignore the Nuggets being this good, while Nikola Jokic is averaging a triple-double, which gets into another point that I've made before. When Russell Westbrook won MVP, OKC was in the 6th spot. I had an issue with that because I feel like if you're going to win MVP, you got to be somewhere in that top 3, top 4 spot in your conference. Number 6 is a little bit too low, even if you are averaging a triple-double. So let's actually look at both conferences as well at the top teams. Let me know who you really think could win MVP outside of what we are just hearing on a ESPN or a top mainstream show. Jason Tatum is a name that I think a lot of people should be mentioning in the comments, and we know that he just said, honestly, no, when he was asked about if he's being appreciated. Quote, if you took the name and the face away from all my accomplishments and you're just like, this is what player A accomplished at 26, people will talk about me a lot differently. He's absolutely right. I don't know why he's not talked about as much when it comes to MVP. This is why I've always said with the voting and it being a select group of media members, there's always going to be some bias as to who they want to give that trophy to push forward whatever narrative they think is great for the league and player to be put on that pedestal. And maybe for some reason they don't think Jason Tatum is that guy. I don't know. I'm just putting that out there. You can tell me if I'm right or wrong. Basically, if I had to go with my top 5 for who I think is MVP right now, it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, LeBron James, Jason Tatum, Karl Anthony Towns. That is my 5. Again, I'm very curious as to what y'all think. And I'll say one more thing that may be a little bit of an unpopular opinion. If you are 50-10, the Cleveland Cavaliers right now, I don't know how you don't have at least somebody in that discussion as well. The problem is because there's so much emphasis on that individual performance, individual talent. As I've said, they don't have anyone that jumps out the window. As a result, it looks like a team that has a collective group of people who are equally as good, equally as important, but no one else stands out to be more valuable than the other. And so a team like this will always get overlooked with these players. All right, like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, this whole MVP talk. And as always, salute for listening. Peace.